This show is sponsored by MidasResources.com, your trusted source for precious metals since 1996. Call Midas today at 1-800-686-2237.
Welcome to this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley in Washington, D.C. This is our post-Thanksgiving show. It's the long Thanksgiving weekend. Normally we would be taping this on the so-called Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, but because of the vicissitudes of production, we're taping it actually on the evening of Tuesday, the 25th of November. So please don't imagine that we can know everything, although we have actually been pretty good, as we'll see. But what I would point to is we don't know what has actually happened in the latter part of this week, right? There's a bigger interval between our taping and the actual broadcast. So let us now begin. The question of the fall of Secretary of Defense Hagel. And here is our conclusion to begin with, and then we'll give you the motivation. The most prominently named candidate to replace Hagel at the Pentagon is a certain Michel Flournoy, Flournoy. Stop this nomination. Vote no. If you're in the Senate, vote no. If you have a senator, and everybody has two, especially the ones on the Senate Armed Services Committee, the answer to Michel Flournoy wanting to take over the Pentagon is no, no, no. She is a warmonger. She is a mask of General David Petraeus, General John Allen, and their warmonger clique. No. This woman is not qualified. She would be Rumsfeld in a skirt, but even worse, because the strings would be pulled, in this case, by the Bonapartist and enemy of democracy, General David Petraeus. Remember General Petraeus? Remember you guys from MoveOn.org? Well, this is General Petraeus coming back with a vengeance. And we'll describe this in a second. The news, as you know, is that as of last week, Secretary of Defense Hagel, appearing with a Band-Aid on his face next to General Dempsey at the House Armed Services Committee, Secretary Hagel was an opponent of the strategy of bombing Assad and essentially taking the heat off ISIS. That is the policy that Michel Flournoy would be coming in with. Michel Flournoy would be squishy soft on the terrorists from ISIS and Nusra and Al-Qaeda, and she'd be hard as nails on the Assad regime. She's incompetent. She's a fool from this point of view strategically. And you'll remember all of that blather that we've covered over the last two programs. You heard it first here, that allegedly while Obama was out of the country, there was going to be a policy review. And in that policy review, the necessity was to bomb Assad. And, of course, that would mean fewer resources to throw at ISIS and Nusra and the Islamic State and all the rest of these terrorist crazies. Remember what Hagel had said, that ISIL is an immediate threat, and dealing with Assad, where we are now, that's not going to put ISIL back in the box. ISIS, ISIL, interchangeable. You know this drill by now. So remember what he said. The line coming from the warmonger group, and we'll see who they are, was that Assad is a magnet for terrorism. Yeah, he's a magnet because he's been targeted by Qatar, by Turkey, by Saudi, by NATO intelligence and other pro-terrorist forces. You remember what Hegel had said. There is no change. There is no different direction. We could change Assad today, and that's not going to change all the dynamics. This is from a secret testimony, according to an insider account. Who are you going to replace Assad with? What kind of an army can take on ISIL? According to the AL Monitor and CNN. Now, remember that Hegel had sent a memo to Rice. This is now Susan Rice, the head of the National Security Council. I cringe in saying this, but that's her. And there was a big attempt to give out false leaks, to distort, to completely reverse the content of that critical memo from Hegel to Rice. I think what Hegel was saying is, you got to make up your mind. If you want to fight ISIL, you got to essentially accept the fact that you're working with Assad. And she can't do it, because the career of Susan Rice and the career of Samantha Power, and not a few of these others, is based on humanitarian bombing. If you take away the call to overthrow Assad and Putin, of course, but for the moment it's the Middle East, we hope. If you're going to put out calls to overthrow Assad, that's the essence of the Samantha Power, Susan Rice position. If they're told, zip it and clobber ISIS, then their whole humanitarian bomber dimension, their whole Soros dimension, goes out the window. They can't take it. So what has been going on then is simply to pretend that you can do both. And my estimate is that the Hegel memo of late October to Susan Rice was something like that. You've got to decide which it is. You can't have both, and you better support Assad, because ISIS is by far the larger threat. Here we go. Here's a commentary. Let's see if we can cite this for you. This is some kind of a, I think he's a libertarian anyway. Daniel McAdams, Hegel out, Assad next. This was obvious. You can see my tweets. I'm sure I beat him to the punch. Hegel's fate was sealed in early October when it was reported that he sent a memo to Rice. We want that memo, by the way. We want that memo leaked. Hey, Cryptome. Hey, WikiLeaks. Hey, anybody. Get us that Hegel to Rice memo, and we'll begin to know more. But in this case, it's described as expressing concern over the Syria policy, especially the policy towards Assad had become incomprehensible. Unable to back down from the humanitarian interventionist demands that Assad must go, the administration simply pretended that Assad and his army on the ground fighting al-Qaeda and ISIS did not exist. Instead, the policy appeared to be one of fighting ISIS and Assad, the enemy of ISIS, at the same time, while all the while training yet another tranche of moderate rebels who would presumably fight both ISIS and Assad. And it's absolutely ridiculous. So that's why he was out. We're also told Hegel didn't get along well with Rice and Samantha Power. Well, here it is. They're humanitarian bombers, and along with many, right? The Pentagon is full of contempt for Samantha Power, right? Loopy, loony, right? Humanitarian bomber. It just doesn't work. There were attempts to mediate this with Rice and McDonough. And notice, this all comes shortly after the arrival of General Allen. We have been pointing to Marine Corps General Allen, the disgraced General Allen of Jill Kelly fame, of November 2012 fame, all those emails to that Lebanese socialite woman. Who in God's name is she, and why is she getting hundreds and thousands of emails from General Allen? He's disgraced. How does that guy still have a security clearance? He and Petraeus should have been deprived of their security clearances long ago because of their philandering and God knows what else. We'll be back in a minute.
business has discovered the preparedness market, and that makes it difficult to know where to go and who to trust. MyPatriotSupply.com is owned and operated by patriots just like you. Has the best prices on storable food, non-GMO seeds, water filtration devices, home canning equipment, survival and self-reliance books, and more. MyPatriotSupply.com has old-fashioned values and the absolute best customer service in the industry. Look for the deal of the day. Unique, affordable survival supplies that fit anyone's budget. Get same-day shipping on all orders and free shipping on orders over $49. Call 866-229-0927, 866-229-0927, or visit MyPatriotSupply.com for emergency preparedness, self-reliance, and food independence. Shop with a name you know and a name you can trust. Before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Mike Stenerson for Midas Resources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 square meals you'll need in an emergency. So the Freeze Dry Guys 3 square meal unit sale is just the ticket. A variety pack of tasty, nourishing breakfast, lunch, and dinner on sale now. Breakfast is Freeze Dry Guys' favorite. Hot oatmeal and sweet dehydrated bananas. Lunch is Mountain House freeze-dried hot macaroni and cheese and crisp green beans. And dinner is Mountain House long grain wild rice pilaf and hearty beef stew, vegetables, and gravy. Call Freeze Dry Guy and ask for details on the 126 serving 3 square meals unit. One case normally $164.37. Sale price at only $138.90. Save over $25. Get 2 or 3 cases and save even more. Or ask about Freeze Dry Guys Fall Chili Special. Always free shipping to the lower 48 states. Call 866-404-3663 or click freezedryguy.com. And hurry, the Fall Chili Special and 3 square meals unit are on sale while supplies last. From the Freeze Dry Guy, the finest freeze-dried and dehydrated foods available for long-term storage, period.
On Facebook, on the news, and in conversations with friends, we're bombarded every day with advice on how to be healthier, from gluten-free and non-GMO diets to how much exercise and sleep the body needs. But how much have you heard about alkalizing the body? AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are a holistic and natural way to get your body's pH levels back in balance. Just a few drops in water will help your body rid itself of harmful waste. And even the healthiest of diets can be complemented with your daily use of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops. Who isn't looking for more vibrance, vigor, and energy? Now buy 2 bottles of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops and get $10 off your order. Visit alkavision.com or call 800-518-7615. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds. Open the door to greater health, vitality, and zest for life. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health. Call 800-518-7615 or head to alkavision.com.
Not just an alternative to the mainstream media. We're the premier independent talk radio network. We are G.
World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley in Washington, D.C. Remember to keep up with my work. Go to tarpley.net, all the radio, TV, books, articles, other appearances, Twitter feed. It's all there. And let me repeat